Greetings. I'm attempting to do a review of Jayz's song, The Story of OJ. And the reason why I'm doing it is because that is exactly where my mind is. That's exactly how I feel about things. As a Black woman, I have been so locked in a kind of mindset that I've only worked to delay my own progress. And after spending time thinking and working behind the scenes, this is where I'm at. This is why I have no patience for certain kind of religious thoughts. I have no patience for individuals who walk around with self-pity or self-hate, because those things are destructive to us as Black people. And I like to use I statements because I include myself in all of these things that I talk about. So the first line says, skin black, my skin is black. My black skin, my skin is yellow. And I'm going to say eager for that N word. So light eager, dark eager, full eager, real eager, rich eager, poor eager, house eager, feel eager, still eager, still eager. So in this he's saying, who cares if you have dark skin or light skin, or if you're a rich eager or a poor eager? At the end of the day, you're not escaping the fact that you're still a Black person. I don't necessarily see myself as an eager, but I know what he's talking about, and he's using the language of the masses that people understand. And people who don't even use this language anymore, they still think it anyway. So let's not kid ourselves. So in spite of who you think you are, at the end of the day, you are not escaping that black skin. That's what he's saying, in my opinion. And then he says, I like the second one, still eager. And then he repeats the stance. My skin, my black skin is yellow, and light eager, dark eager, full eager, and it goes on to where it says still eager. House eager, don't F with me. I'm a feel eager. Who shine cutlery, go play the quarters where the butlers be. That's how we are. As Black people, we always put ourselves in some kind of hierarchy. We say, okay, this is the house eager, this is a field eager, and a house eager. Some of us do act like house eager. When we get an opportunity working for whomever, we think, if we think it's a privileged position, we think we are better than the other one who's out there in the field. And then the field person struggling, the real proletariat, as they're working, they have resentment because they're not really seeing their way, and they're feeling oppression. They're feeling the pinch because they're the ones who actually build companies and build countries and so on, and they're struggling. So there's a resentment there. So they look at those individuals who they think are closer to the privilege, and then there's the resentment. But that's a part of the divide and conquer, really. So we always find opportunities to hate upon each other. And usually there's an outside influence. There's somebody outside pushing that, but we don't know. So he says, so the feel eager says, I am a play the corners where the hustlers be. Saying, okay, just don't talk to me. You can't talk to me. You're out there in your privileged position. I was eager. I'm just going to stick with those ones out here in the corner. I'm going to make my money out here. I'm going to make my bread out here. You can't talk to me. You don't know nothing about my situation. And then he says, I told him, please don't die over the neighbor. Where your mama renting. So it makes sense that if you're out there in the corners doing things that is considered to be illegal, why you still running the streets without taking that money and using it for purpose? He's saying, why are you renting? He goes on to say, take your drug money and buy the neighborhood. That's how you rinse it. So he's saying the money that you're calling dirty money, this is not dirty money. It is dirty money if you're doing illegal things, but to make it become good money, you're going to use it to buy the neighborhood where your mama lives. Then he says, I bought every V12 engine. I wish I could take it back to the beginning. I could have bought a place, a Dumbo, before it was Dumbo, for like 2 million. That same building today is worth 25 million. Guess how I'm feeling? Dumbo. So here he's saying, you know, when you start getting dollars, which is the typical thing for black people, as soon as we get a dime, we start to buy or look for the most expensive, most recent vehicle that when we drive it off the parking lot, it is worth zero in a few months. And he's saying, instead of doing that, I regret not taking my money and investing it in property. And then he goes in and he talks about, you know, repeating the verse. Skin black, my skin is black. My skin is black. And I'm repeating it, sorry. Light igor, dark igor, full igor, real igor, rich igor, poor igor, house igor, field igor, still igor, still igor. So regardless of what category you find yourself in, you are still perceived to be a igor. Get used to that fact. Not that you should celebrate being a igor, but if you're gonna have to live with the labels, then put the right frame of mind in place. You're gonna be a igor, then be a smart igor. If you're gonna be a igor, then invest. Invest, because when you're rich, when you're wealthy, it doesn't matter what anybody says about you. You're there living your life. Who cares? Oftentimes the people who are saying crap about you are people who are wishing they were you to begin with. It goes on to say, that same building today is worth $25 million. Guess what? I am feeling Dumbo. He's feeling real stupid because when he had the chance to invest his money into something that would have grown a few years later, he didn't. He says, you want to know what? You want to know what's more important than throwing away money at a strip club? Credit. That's how they get us. Because when we get credit, oftentimes we use the credit to do things that doesn't build us. In fact, these credits oftentimes are not given to us to make us do better. But if you're smart, like he's saying, if you understand the value of credit, you wouldn't do the things you do. Of course, if I think about it now, if I could take it back, some of the things that I've done with credit, I wouldn't have done that. And so he's educating us to say, be smart about the way you use your money. He says, you ever wonder why Jewish people own all the properties in America? This is how they did it. They use credit to advance themselves. Financial freedom, my only hope. F living rich and dying broke. I bought an artwork for 1 million. 2 years later, that ish is worth 2 million. Few years later, that ish is worth 8 million. I can't wait to give that ish to my children. So here he's saying, you know what, I invested in a $1 million artwork. And to the typical black person, you know, that would be crazy to do something like that. But he has foresight. He's looking down the future. He's looking at different forms of investment. And he's not trying to put his basket or his eggs in one basket, as you will. And then what he's ultimately thinking about, he's giving this to his children. He's creating this legacy. Many of us don't do that. We don't do that because we didn't have anyone training us to think that way. Jay-Z is surrounded by people who are obsessed with money, who are obsessed with making money. And so he's learning from them, because there's no point in him saying, I'm just being loyal to my community. I'm just going to stick with my community. Because at the end of the day, to be honest with you, if you do that, oftentimes the people in your community are only want to keep you down, only wanting to be around you to just take from you. They're not trying to help to build you and you build each other. Just take, 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 take. As soon as you have certain places in the world when one person leave from the family to go and better themselves, the rest of the family are like vultures. They don't stop taking, 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 tearing you down. And when you've got nothing else to give them, they turn around and say you're worthless and that you had opportunities that they never had. So it's correct to say, I'm going to take my money and I'm going to spend a dime and make $10. For he says, you all think it's bougie. I'm like, it's fine. So your opinion about how he chooses to live his life and how he chooses to invest his money is of no concern to him. What you think is bougie, as far as he's concerned, is creating a future for his children that is going to take them out of that poverty. It might not change the way they're seen as black kids, but who cares what you think about me when I am financially stable, when I'm able to, you know, make power moves in this world. It says, but I'm trying to sell you $1 million worth of game for $9.99. And I'm sure this is something, perhaps something he's trying to sell people, or probably some idea. He's saying, listen, I'm trying to sell you an idea that you only pay $9.99 for. I'm trying to show you that out of a little thing, out of making the right investment, a small investment for you, ultimately to make millions of dollars for you down the road. He says, I turned 2 to a 4, 4 to a 8. Turn my life into a nice first week release date. It's like my whole life is surrounded by successes. Everything that I'm doing is like this big excitement, this big anticipation around my life, because every turn I make, every opportunity I seek, every advances I make, it's all about creating success in my life and creating a big buzz around what I'm doing. It says, you're all out there still talking advances. Advances is like, oh, you're always in a situation where you want a loan, you want to borrow some money from somebody, you're just barely getting by because you don't have the right attitude towards money. You're busy still taking advances. Meanwhile, him and his eagers are taking real chances. We don't take enough chances. We don't take enough chances in life. We allow fear to stop us from taking these advances. And oftentimes too, and my friend, when you watch this, you know I'm talking about you. We're so tight about ethics. We're so concerned about doing the right thing. What is the right thing really? If the right thing ends up with you struggling and always, you know, trying to figure out your next move, then maybe you might want to rethink that, because we put so much burdens on ourselves. And a lot of times these come from this morality that is forced down our throat, telling us that if you want to be seen as a good person, this is what you have to do. No, you have to make the right moves. Because all these great societies that are built were not built on persons using conscience. It was built on people knowing what they wanted to do, and they didn't mind taking some people as collateral damage. They didn't really care about some of who they would step on before they get there. Now, I'm not saying that you can't work with your own conscience, but I'm just saying you put too much emphasis on, oh my goodness, you know, who am I going to hurt? And as you're worried about other people, the same persons you're trying to protect, they're the same ones who put you under their feet and grind you, or they're the same ones who will call your, you know, sworn enemy to come and prosecute you. So who are you being ethical about? What is in your best interest, and what are you trying to gather and to secure for your children and your children's children? So while Jayz is living his life, a bunch of us are out here talking about he's into Illuminati and he's into this and he's into that and he's a house nigger, because he's doing what is best for himself. He's doing what works for him. He's doing what's best for his children. He's not thinking about you and what you think about him, because at the end of the day, while he's with you on the streets, close to you and trying to have partnership with you and trying to live the poor life with you. Before you know it, you shoot him down. He dies never fulfilling his dreams. You're all on the gram holding money to your ears. Like, if that was worth anything, how much money can you really hold to your ears? These are people who are always faking and showing off and pretending like they got something when they ain't got jack. 2 months, and before you know it, you're broke. You're so broke, and you don't know what you're going to do next. Just on Instagram bragging. People who have real money, nobody really knows about how much money they have because they're not trying to tell you. People are guessing. People are going to research and find out and dig out. Every time they're talking about how many money Jayz has or how much he's worth, is not him out there advertising. They're going out to seek. Because while you're busy wondering how much he's worth, he's there thinking, how much more can I get to add to this worth? He says, there is a disconnect. We don't all call that money over here. Yeah. And he goes back to repeat, you know. And at the end of the song, you see this black man hanging. And the chorus goes back. And it says, rich nigger, poor igger, dark igger, light igger, rich igger, poor igger, house igger, field igger, still igger. At the end of the day, you're still seen as an igger. Whether you're rich or you're poor or you're light skin or you're dark skin, you can stay there and kid yourself. At the end of the day, what matters is not what your shade is or what your skin color is or how moral you are, because he's saying those neighborhoods that are filled with properties bought by Jewish people is because they had the right mindset about building, because they had the right approach to building, as opposed to walking around with a halo around your head that you're so, you know, righteous. The dumbness in our community won't stop, because when we have people coming to us and giving us advice, we don't appreciate it. When they give us advice that is good for us, we get angry with them and we say that they're house eggers, and we say that, you know, who are they? Now, while he said these things, and there's a possibility down the road for people to try to use these same words against him, at the end of the day, he's thinking, if I've lived a good life and I'm still able to change the course of my children's destiny, and later on, you know, a OJ falls on me or a Bill Cosby fall on me, they still can't take away what I have, the legacy that I have for my children. So it is never really too late for us to change that attitude. The one where we're like just busy flashing and showing things what we've got, people what we've got, and we're not showing the right things. Because the example that he uses to say, what is worse than throwing away your money in a strip club is not having credit, because that's what you need. And so instead of bragging and showing off and, you know, who has this and who live where and, you know, this and that, and we all do that, and we find ourselves in ruin, financial ruin most of the time. I like the song, and I didn't break it down as some other people would, but listen to the song for yourself. I personally am there thinking I have to reprioritize, you know, my intentions, because I didn't care about money. As soon as I had money in my hand, I just want to look for a place to give it or people to give it. I actually lived my life that way, and it was not the right thing. And I didn't secure for my kids because I was thinking, oh, you know, if I help other people or if I'm there for other people, you know, I'm showing charity and generosity, you know, my kids will be okay because they'll be blessed, because God is going to come. God is going to come and take care of them. That's foolishness. That's nonsense. But I fully agree with Jayz that it doesn't matter what kind of black person you are. At the end of the day, even if you're rich, you're still seen as a eager, and if you're poor, you're still seen as one. But at the end of the day, what is more important is not how people see you, it's how you see yourself, and what are your plans to make sure that regardless of what they think of you, you're doing fine and you're securing solid foundation for your children. Be blessed. You can continue. I feel eager, you know, being concerned about how other people are living their lives and calling them names and saying that you're house eager. And you can come out here chanting revolution and saying, yeah, power to the people, and you got nothing. And as soon as you're out here saying power to the people, they shoot you down like a dog. And there's nothing that's going to come of that, because nothing ever usually does come of that. And you're out here, coming out here saying, let's get away from those people. Unity really is strength when it comes to the issue that faces African people. But at the same time, there comes a time when you have to lay down that burden, because you find the people that you're trying to carry this weight for, they don't want to carry it with you. They want to kill you. Some of them will just turn you over to the very people you're trying to defend them against. So I'm not saying that we shouldn't care about the causes that relates to our lives and our situation and things that affect our communities. But at the same time, it's best for you to think about yourself and how you can advance yourself. At least that's where I'm at now in my life. I'm not going to look at money as it's demonic anymore. I did that for a long time, and it's not a good thing. I desire more. Money is not all, but it sure takes care of things, and it sure can make some ugly things go away. Be blessed, everybody.